Applying for a mortgage in 2023. So if you're looking to buy your next home, whether it's your first home or a multiple home, and you're like, where do I start the process? Then this video is for you. So what we're going to cover are the basic requirements to apply for a loan. We're going to cover the documents that you need to start gathering and be prepared. And then we're going to talk about what to expect at the pre-approval process. I'm Jennifer Hernandez, lender since 1995. I've helped thousands of people go through the process, and I look forward to educating you, real facts, no BS, everything mortgage. Let's get started. So the basic requirements of a loan. Now we're going to talk about the basics. There are exceptions. But just to give you an idea that if you find yourself with a 620 to a 640 credit score, then you more than likely are able to get into a home. Now there's different requirements for FHA, conventional, VA. Can you go less than a 620 score? Yes, you can on a government loan. That would be VA, FHA, or USDA. However, the reason I say 620 or 640 is because that's usually where a lot of the down payment assistance programs start. So I like to use that as just a minimum requirement. Also, if you're wondering how much you can afford, so a general rule of thumb, again, it's a rule of thumb, not exact, is whatever your annual gross salary is. Now, gross means prior to taxes being taken out, okay? So if your gross earnings, let's say it's you and a spouse, and your gross earnings in the household are $80,000, then you could essentially afford a home of 3 to 4 times that number. So that would be a house anywhere from $240,000 to $320,000. Again, the reason I'm giving you ranges is because there's a lot of in the middle between that there is to think about. Like, what if you have a little bit higher debts and can qualify for a little bit less? Or what if you have no debt? You can essentially maybe qualify for a little bit more. So if you, generally speaking, take your annual salary, annual earnings, and times it by 3 or 4, you're generally in the ballpark of how much home you can afford. So the last thing is savings. Now again, there's down payment assistance programs out there, but not everybody uses down payment assistance or qualifies for down payment assistance. Generally, I would say if you have anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000, that's a great knowledge base for knowing that you've got a pretty good chance at getting a home. Now, are there people that get in with a lot less than that? Yes. Are there people that put down a lot more than that? Yes. This is just a great rule of thumb. So let's go over documents to gather. So you've got the potential credit score, you're in the 620 to 640 range. You know more or less that, hey, I can afford probably 3 times my annual income. And what documents, so you're ready to pre-approve for a loan. And by the way, pre-approve 6 months out is my recommendation. I'm going to put a video about that for you right up above about why pre-approve 6 months out. So you need to gather some documents and have that prepared. If a lender is promising you a pre-approval without submitting documents, you need to run for the hills, okay? Like, you've got to provide documents, because sometimes on paper, what you think you make on income or what a lender is going to count as your income might be different than what is actually deposited in your bank account. So it's really important to just know and get these documents together, and that way we can be really accurate for you to make sure we don't lead you in the wrong direction. So documents to gather, I usually tell people to remember the numbers 222. So 222 is catchy and it's easy to remember, and it stands for 2 pay stubs. If you're paid every other week, we need 1 month of pay stubs, but that's usually 2 pay stubs. 2 W-2 forms, that's 2 years W-2s. If you're self-employed, we also need 2 years tax returns if you own your own business. Now, in addition, the other 2 stands for 2 months bank statements. Now, remember, we need all of the pages, so don't give us just the first page. We need page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, so all of the pages in your statement, whether it's a checking account, retirement, account, etc. Now I've got a treat for you. I've actually got a list. You can download a free checklist that I've got for you. I'll put the link in the description, a free checklist that you can download for knowing what documents exactly to gather. So I hope so far you're liking this video. Please let me hear your questions about either qualifying or documents or what to expect at the pre-approval. So that is our last section, what to expect at the pre-approval. Now we know that there's lots of lending choices out there, and it's really hard, I would imagine, to know, like, what do I do? Do I go online? Do I ask of a friend? Do I use who my neighbor used? You know, my brother-in-law is a mortgage lender. What do I do? So my suggestion always is definitely make sure that your list includes local lenders. Now, you could get a local lender recommendation from a coworker, from a friend, from family. That means that they've already been semi-vetted from someone that's had a really great experience. Now, there is a big, bold reason to why use a local, state-local, whether it's a state or in the same city, as where you live or where you're buying. So I'm going to put that video right here. I'm going to put it up above, and I'm also going to put it down in the description, why use a local lender. So what you should expect at pre-approval is you definitely should expect to submit documents. If a lender is not asking for documents, that is a sign that it might not be complete. The other thing that you should expect is definitely to have your credit pulled. Now, there's a lot of mystery and a lot of myths actually about credit. So we are going to put a credit video. I've got a special bonus for you of a credit video of the truth about credit inquiries, and I'm going to put it down in the description for you so that you have access to it. It is a lot of great information, so you know exactly what to expect of how your credit is or is not affected. So those are the things that you definitely should expect. I hope you've got a lot from this video. Go ahead and click on the resources below. We'll see you the next time. Talk to you soon.